Hello, how are you? My name is Labib. I'm from Iraq. I've been living in Turkey temporarily as a refugee. I've been living in Turkey since 7 years with my family, father, mother, and brother, and my grandmother. Today I'm going to tell you my story and how we got here. I mean by here, in Turkey. People always talk about patience, persistence, and endurance. But has ever, when asked or questioned if the speaker is really experienced one of them or at least one of these? I would like to convey to you my experience by telling you my story. I was born in town in northern of Iraq. My family and I used to live in my grandfather's house. I spent my childhood in my grandfather's house and I had a lot of good memories. Actually, we never thought that we might have to live in other place than our home or our city. Our town was with a Christian majority and there was a lot of churches. We lived simply, peaceful, goodness and love. When I got older, problems began in my country. And I mean by problems, not the simple problems or trivial problems. I do rather mean the problems that make a person flee to another place just to save his life and his family's life. Problems such as racism and poor living conditions in Iraq. In 2014, the problems reached the climax and the terrorists attacked our city and bombed our neighborhood. To be honest, we didn't believe, me and my family, that we would live at that moment because we were under attack and heavy attack and we were afraid and terrified. But the Lord was with us and saved us and we got out of the house and we escaped to another place. But what next? No home, nowhere to go, nothing to hold on, but hope. My family and I suffered a lot because of that situation and we were terrified. But thanks to God, He was with us and saved us. And we convinced ourselves that the best will come. Do you know this is the spirit required in these kind of situations? You know, every miserable person in pain needs this inner strength that tells him to keep going and bear it. And the best is yet to come. After that, we had to live to another city to rescue ourselves and our lives. And we lived in a refugee camp with other 50 families. Actually, it was very miserable situation. It was the end of the world for me. And the most painful thing there was that we had to live as refugees in our country. What an irony. At that camp, there was no access to education, no access to healthcare, no simple rights for any person to live in the country. Actually, we lost hope there. At that place, in the camp, the most painful thing happened to me and to my family. My grandfather, whom I loved, he passed away because he couldn't stand the situation that he was in. An old man being taken out of his house. It was very difficult to him and he couldn't handle it, so he passed away. After my grandfather passed away, my family and I made sure that this country could not fit to be our homeland, and we took very difficult decision. The decision was to leave our home country forever. We left Iraq forever and we came to Turkey in 2016 August. Here in Turkey, the first we came, we registered and we made application to the United Nations. Here in Turkey we have difficulties, but our difficulties here is different than the difficulties we had in Iraq. But we still have hope. Patience is still required. Persistence is the key. This was my story. I wish everyone to be patient and persistent and believe that the best is yet to come in order to overcome these circumstances. In the end, I want to thank you all for listening to me telling my story. This was my story. I'm Labib. Thank you all.